Hello and welcome to Speed Movie. Today we've got a treat for you with an analysis of the live-action adaptation of Assassination Classroom, spanning the first and second seasons. This film dives into the intriguing tale of Koro-sensei and his antics with the students. Spoilers ahead, folks. Let's dive right into the nitty-gritty. This Koro-sensei is an assassin. If the students can't kill him, he will destroy the earth. Koro-sensei can detach his own arm, but it grows back. One moment, students are diligently studying, and the next, they pick up guns to shoot their teacher, Koro-sensei. To assassinate him, students train hard every day. One day, a boy hands in his homework to Koro-sensei. Unexpectedly, there's a bomb in the boy's hands. After the bomb explodes, the Koro-sensei disappears. When the students believe their Koro-sensei is dead, he reappears on the ceiling. The Koro-sensei is furious, not allowing students to disregard their lives. As a punishment, he decides to make them write double the homework. A man tries to exploit the Koro-sensei kindness to kill him, and he jumps off a cliff. But the Koro-sensei doesn't jump down. Instead, he turns into a web to catch the man. The assassination plan fails once again. Koro-sensei is a teacher. In the blink of an eye, the students pick up their guns and start shooting frantically at the Koro-sensei. If they can't kill the Koro-sensei, the earth will be destroyed. One day, a new student who is a robot transfers into the school. She whips out a machine gun and starts spraying bullets at the Koro-sensei, but it's still no use. Then, a new student with white hair comes on the scene. He charges at the Koro-sensei, slicing off the Koro-sensei hand in an instant. Surprisingly, white hair also possesses superpowers. An epic battle is about to start. Will the Koro-sensei meet his end like this? In the next moment, the white hair is thrown out by the Koro-sensei. On another day, the Koro-sensei uses a clone jutsu to teach the students. A student questions if his body can withstand it, not realizing that the real Koro-sensei is resting outside. In a chemistry class, a girl brings poison in front of the Koro-sensei, and the Koro-sensei takes the poison and drinks it directly. In the next moment, the Koro-sensei still doesn't die. But the Koro-sensei also has a weakness, a particular fear of water. This vulnerability is noted down by the students. This is the most responsible Koro-sensei in the world. If your English is lacking, they send you abroad to learn it. Struggling with physics? Off you go to outer space for an experience. Can't grasp history? You get to see the pyramids in person. What was once the worst class in the entire school has now become the best. But the students tie the Koro-sensei up and spray them with the Koro-sensei's biggest fear, water. They even try to shoot the teacher because if they don't, the world will be destroyed. Unexpectedly, the Koro-sensei transforms into a sphere. Subsequently, the state apprehended the Koro-sensei. Students, who should have been celebrating, suddenly shed tears. Their days together have fostered a bond with their Koro-sensei. In the next moment, a tentacle extends and hands them a tissue. This tentacle seems strangely familiar. It turns out to be their Koro-sensei, who didn't perish. Using his superpowers, the Koro-sensei escaped and is determined to continue teaching the students. But if they can't kill the Koro-sensei, the world will be doomed, and the next assassination attempt is about to begin. A female student pretends she's just turning in her homework, but then, boom! She lunges at Koro-sensei with a knife, followed by a swift kick. But guess what? She can't even touch him. Instead, sensei spins her around until she's so dizzy she passes out. And then, another student thinks it's their turn to try and take out sensei. But no dice. Nothing works. Now, we've got the school festival rolling in, and it's like the perfect scene to try and take down sensei. Sensei, dressed up like some kind of mascot, handing out flyers with Nagisa. Little do they know there's a sniper aiming right at them. But just as the shot rings out, sensei, gone, vanished into thin air. And don't forget the English teacher, all geared up for an assassination attempt. But here's the twist. Sensei turns into this massive peach, right there on the stage, putting on a drama show. Meanwhile, two other students jump in for their shot at sensei, and that sniper, he's back at it, taking aim. But when he looks through the scope, poof, sensei's not there. Suddenly, sensei's right in front of him, turning his rifle into a club, and get this, dressing him up in a performance costume. Several female students were kidnapped by some nefarious students, but just as these villains were about to act, two male students of Koro-sensei rushed in, averting the impending tragedy. Despite being outnumbered, the duo managed to take down all the assailants. In a desperate move, one of the attackers held a knife to a girl's neck, threatening the heroes to back down while his accomplice launched a surprise attack, quickly overpowering the two students. But just when the villains thought they could proceed with their wicked deeds, a mysterious creature appeared. It was Koro-sensei. With multiple tentacles, he engaged in a skirmish with the villains, eventually capturing all the wrongdoers and successfully rescuing the female students. On another day, one of the girls was airing out a blanket, asking Koro-sensei for assistance. Suddenly, she sprouted two tentacles and, with a swift pull of the blanket, trapped Koro-sensei in the hallway. His tentacles, upon touching the blanket, were harmed. Approaching the trapped teacher, the girl then launched an attack on Koro-sensei with her two new appendages. The girl extended two tentacles, launching an attack on Koro-sensei. A large hole was smashed through the ceiling, and torrents of water cascaded down upon Sensei, his most dreaded adversary. From above, the girl continued her assault with her tentacles, forcing Sensei into a relentless evasion. Just as she delivered a potentially fatal strike, a piercing sound abruptly halted her attack capabilities. In an instant, Sensei appeared before her, inquiring about the origin of her tentacles. The girl claimed she was actually Abby's sister, accusing Sensei of having killed her sister. Acknowledging her current inability to overpower Koro-sensei, she temporarily retreated. Abby, it turned out, had been a previous class teacher of the students. However, having spent considerable time with Koro-sensei, the students refused to believe he was the culprit behind Abby's demise. The following day, the girl confronted Koro-sensei once again, with Sensei left with no option but to dodge her attacks continuously. Yet, it was clear to everyone that if the girl persisted in her attack, Sensei's life hung in the balance. In a frenzy, the girl unleashed a torrent of attacks on Koro-sensei, her two tentacles piercing his body. As Sensei appeared on the brink of being incinerated alive, Nagisa suddenly embraced the girl from behind, attempting to transform her intent through the power of love. Instantly, the girl's resolve melted away along with her tentacles as she gradually regained her senses. Koro-sensei then unveiled the truth. 2 years prior, he was known as the Reaper, a killer not only endowed with formidable physical strength, but also possessing a high intellect. During an assassination mission, he was ambushed, knocked unconscious, and bound in heavy chains, only to be delivered to an illicit research organization and subjected to their experiments due to his unique combination of physical and intellectual prowess. Success in these experiments meant turning him into a weapon of murder. Abby, tasked with monitoring him, watched as Koro-sensei, with his assassin's knowledge, gradually gained control over the laboratory amidst the unfolding experiments. Was Koro-sensei always like this? Nope. Flashback to a time when he looked human before being snatched away for some crazy experiments. Then, bam, the scientists realize he's on the brink of gaining superhuman smarts and strength. So what do? They beef up security like there's no tomorrow. Cut to Koro-sensei and Abby, who are practically inseparable, turning into the best of buds. And get this. Through a pane of glass, Koro-sensei reaches out with these ultra-fine tentacles, forming a hand to touch Abby's face. It's like something out of a sci-fi romance. They're falling for each other, hard. But then, plot twist. The lab guys figure out Koro-sensei is about to unlock this world-ending power. Immediate action is required, or so they think. Abby overhears their doom and gloom chat, races to spill the beans to Koro-sensei, who's not having any of it. In his next evolutionary leap, he's like, humanity's gonna pay. And just like that, he smashes through the reinforced glass and obliterates the door with his tentacles. Talk about making an exit. A researcher lands a punch on Abby, and seeing his beloved struck, Koro-sensei goes into a frenzy, unstoppable, invulnerable. But then, out of nowhere, Abby's there, embracing him from behind, seriously wounded, beyond even Koro-sensei's remarkable healing abilities. Her dying wish? For Koro-sensei to take over her role, guiding the underachieving students of Class 3E, those dismissed by society, yet in desperate need of exceptional teaching. At that moment, Abby's sister enters the lab, witnessing this scene, mistakenly believing Koro-sensei to be her sister's killer. Diving into the research, she learns about a serum capable of grafting tentacles to humans, offering immense power but at great risk. Driven by vengeance, she uses it on herself, setting her sights on Class 3E for her misguided revenge. Now, with the truth laid bare, the real danger is just beginning to unfold. This man starts injecting himself with the serum, one shot after another, until his body begins to morph, ultimately transforming into a monstrous creature. Under its relentless assault, Koro-sensei's head is severely damaged, losing half its mass and his ability to retaliate before being hurled out of the classroom. The monster then smashes through the wall, launching a furious attack on Koro-sensei, its tentacles piercing him relentlessly. Overwhelmed and beaten to the ground, Koro-sensei finds himself powerless to fight back. Yet he rises once more, driven by the imperative to protect his students. The onslaught continues, leaving Koro-sensei's body battered and broken. At that moment, a girl rushes out, positioning herself in front of him, only to be swiftly knocked away by the creature. Cradling the gravelly injured girl, Koro-sensei is reminded of his beloved Abby, fueling his fury. Slowly, he stands, his tentacles miraculously regenerating. He turns around, his face darkening ominously, his eyes ablaze with rage. Koro-sensei's visage turns a fearsome black, his eyes seething with rage. In that moment, a brilliant golden glow emanates from his chest. With a ferocious roar, he unleashes a direct blast, vanquishing the monster. He carries the girl back to the classroom, expending his last reserves of energy to heal her. As the girl comes to, Koro-sensei collapses, exhausted, his students gathering around him. He shares with them that this year has truly brought him joy, proclaiming that they are no longer the worst class but are indeed exceptional, congratulating them on their graduation. With those final words, his body transforms into countless stars, illuminating the entire classroom. This marks Koro-sensei's true departure from their lives, but his words remain etched in their memories. Soon after, Nagisa takes up the mantle of teacher for Class 3E, determined to guide his students and fulfill Koro-sensei's expectations. Do you have such inspiring teachers in your life? And what's the most profound thing a teacher has ever done for you?